Are there best practices that we should be considering when we're executing pricing?
Yeah, there definitely are. I think, and I mentioned it earlier, taking this longer view. It's, everyone's feeling kind of this immediate pressure, but knee-jerk kind of quick decisions, need to be made. But I think it's important that they're done with the long term and sustainability of those price changes have to be kept in mind. So um, the actions we take today, I think it's important to keep in mind that we don't know what the future holds. I mean, there's impending recession. We don't know what inflation is going to do. So all that work, all that game planning, all that the analysis that goes into taking a price increase today, you have to keep in the back of your mind that potentially you're going to have to do it again in 6 months, 8 months. You may be forced to take several rounds of pricing. So making short-sighted, kind of big jumps and dealing back and moving things around. Well, some of that is going to happen. I think it's really, really important that that we look for the long term, that we build plans that can flex a little bit as inflation moderates, as it increases. And so to do that, I think the art of kind of game planning and war gaming, we've all done it in our career, but I think it's increasingly important now. So I think having that range of understanding of the scenarios and the potential outcomes really, really important. There's a lot of great tools out there too that can help build a multitude of scenarios with different constraints. I need profit on this brand, I need volume on this brand, but being able to do all those things and develop this range of options, I think is really, really important, because those scenarios, you may develop 5 or 6 of them in one of these sessions, and one might be right today, but a different one may be refreshed and might be better down the road, to predict the outcomes that we're trying to get, because it's going to be dynamic, it's going to keep changing. And so all that stuff is super, super important to kind of develop that outlook and that point of view and get that strategy in place. But more importantly, is kind of that next step too, where retailers, partners, consumer, they're getting bombarded with price changes everywhere. You walk into a store or you're buying online, you kind of have no idea what that pricing might look like on a brand that you were used to. So developing these sales stories and working really closely through, the chain of, sales, of commercial planning, of revenue growth management, all the way down to the consumer, and making sure that we're communicating that right to our retailers and putting that story together and educating people, because it's dynamic, it's changing. And I think with more understanding, through the chain, will make it easier to sell in, but also gives people the confidence in the work that you've done and that it makes sense. And having that flexibility, I think adds that, kind of added value proposition through the chain, I think is super important as we move forward.
Yeah, I think the name of the game for at least the foreseeable future is how quickly can you pivot, and do you have the capabilities in place to allow you to do that? Your comments about building multiple scenarios, that really gives you a roadmap going forward, so that, when things get handed to you from the market, you know which way you're going to move next and be more proactive about your moves as opposed to reacting to what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
so Rob, thanks today for taking the time to talk about this subject. We're going to continue to have these discussions and put out this kind of content from Nielsen IQ. So thanks for your time today, and we will be back again with a new topic shortly.
Thanks, Steve. Enjoyed it.